So I just want to backtrack a little bit
Yeah.
by saying that after I had worked the steps, I had a spiritual experience, a spiritual awakening,
Okay.
right?
What
And
happened?
I found that I suddenly was like, my thoughts had changed, how I felt had changed, how I saw the world had changed. And I realized at a certain point, about 4 or 5 months in, which is when I had basically finished the 12 steps. Some people would say, you're never done the steps, and they're kind of right. But the first round through it, I found that I was starting to feel very happy, which I'd never felt before. And I felt a sense of satisfaction, and yet nothing around me had changed. Right?
Yeah.
Like I still had the same girlfriend. I was living in the same place, same job, but suddenly everything just had more meaning. I felt happy. And I was like, wow. And people call it the pink cloud phase of recovery, right? Or I call it the honeymoon phase, right? Like everything's exciting.
I remember that. Everything's brighter.
It's just incredible, right? And I realized later on that the reason I felt like that, and a lot of us do, is because we go from this like state of suffering and misery and darkness and quickly change into this other state of openness and expansion and freedom, right? We do a lot of work in a short period of time, and that powerful change is what makes us feel so amazing. But then I realized that if you continue doing the same thing that you were doing to get there, it starts to become a normal state for you, right? And it's no longer enough. And so I like to say it's like doing kindergarten, right? Because some people call the 12 steps spiritual kindergarten. But then instead of going to grade 1 or 2, you're stuck in kindergarten. And anybody that is going to be stuck in kindergarten for years is going to start to feel like, what am I doing here? I've learned this already.
Right.
There has to be something more, right? And that's how I felt. After 5 to 6 months, I kept working the steps. And then after a year, I started to feel like, oh my God, I'm still dealing with a lot of negative thoughts and emotions. Right? And doing inventory and praying is sort of helping me manage this, but it's not helping me to burst through this next plateau. And so it brings me back to seeking. I was reading a lot of books on yoga and trying to practice what they taught, but I didn't have like a definite set of directions or like a teaching that I could follow. And then somebody in the 12-step program told me about this meditation center where I live and told me that I should check it out. And I said, sure, why not? I went there with my mom. And the meditation center was part of an organization called the Self-Realization Fellowship, which was started by Paramahansa Yogananda, right? He's no longer alive, but he started this group of centers to spread the teachings of yoga. And I found out from them that they had lessons and that I could sort of start to learn more about the path and become a disciple. And because I had this amazing meditation that day when I first went, my mom and I both had it, actually. We both looked at each other after and went like, did you feel that? Like, that was amazing. And then we both had this beautiful experience that I'm like, I have to learn what they're doing here because the energy here is amazing. And that's what brings me to this point. I'm a part of sort of this community now. And I've been following Paramahansa Yogananda's teachings, doing his meditation, and sort of it changed how I felt. Like, it actually helped me to get through that ceiling and to feel basically to the point where I almost never have a bad day anymore, which I realized. I'm like, one day I woke up and I'm like, I don't have bad days anymore. This is insane. Yeah.
That's awesome.